guys, my name is BB. Welcome back to my channel, bassbabebri. If you've been following me for a while, like on Instagram or anything, username below, you know that I am a big fan of like the 70s and 80s. A lot of my music taste is 80s, 70s. Anyways, I feel like those decades are coming back in a way. It's like a giant cycle. And I've been noticing this for a few years. I think the only thing preventing it from being close to how it was is just these things. So I'm gonna go over some things that I notice are coming back, but definitely feel free to comment anything that you notice is coming back in a way that I may have not covered, because I know there's a ton of different things. There's no way I can cover it in this whole video. So I'm gonna start off by going over things I've noticed in fashion. When it was around Christmas time a few months ago, I was at Target like shopping for gifts, and I noticed that they had a movie box for Fast Times. And basically it came with the movie, and then it came with a t-shirt. And of course it looked like a VHS tape, but they only had those for 80s movies. There's also this other thing at Target. The brand is called Wild Fable. And I've noticed that they have had so many clothes that are from the 80s. Like they have like the acid wash jeans, the denim vests, ringer shirts, striped shirts, the rompers. Another thing I've noticed is the gym shorts, those basketball shorts that people would wear like to gym in high school or something. I have a couple of them. I've noticed like they're selling like pajama sets at Walmart. It's like the ringer shirts and then the gym shorts, and it even comes with tube socks. And what's on the ringer shirts, you may ask? It's like Pink Floyd or Coca-Cola. Of course, the classic fans, those have been out for a while already, but I see more and more people, especially because of Stranger Things, like some of the kids wear it in the show, but it's definitely come back. I've had a couple like within the past 5 years. This is kind of separate from fashion, but I guess it still kind of counts. It's more beauty, but people are doing blue eyeshadow more. I'm sure not a lot of you follow the makeup community, but recently Jeffree Star is a huge beauty influencer here on YouTube, and Jeffree Star Cosmetics recently came out with a blue eyeshadow palette. And because Jeffree Star did that, more makeup brands were coming out with blue eyeshadow palettes. So, and besides that, neutral colors are kind of like, I never see it done really. Like on people that go like full on their makeup, people aren't really doing neutral colors very often. I've noticed that more and more people are using bright colors. They're getting like the greens, purples, yellows, blues. They do the insane amount of makeup. For a while, like I remember when I first started doing makeup, I think I tried blue eyeshadow. I had like a roll-on eyeshadow thing. I remember people telling me, it's like how do you wear that basically? I think the only thing missing from the fashion thing, or one of the big things missing, is the hair. I don't think anyone really knows how to do that either. I can't even figure it out sometimes. But another thing is sometimes like me and my boyfriend will go out to like shows, or like we'll go like to like events or whatever, things that we're not even playing at with our bands, and people will stop us to tell us like, oh my god, you remind me of myself in the 80s. Now on to the next category, music. Now this is a big thing. 2014, I was going to college and I was listening to more of like the alternative kind of stuff, like K-rock music. This is when I first started noticing it. I started noticing an increase of new wave influenced music, if that makes sense. To start, there's this song by a band called Walk the Moon. It's called Aquaman, and it literally sounds like you stepped into an 80s prom. I mean, obviously, I'm influenced by the 70s and 80s. I get told my music reminds people of like old punk rock music. Something is nostalgic to them, where that song reminds them of that time. One thing that was crazy, I remember in 2016, I ran across this song called Love Me by the 1975. And I heard it and I was like, this sounds so familiar. I mean, I've always been a fan of like new wave, and when I heard this song, I was like, this sounds so familiar to me. I was looking in the comments of the video, I'm like, I can't be the only one. Not to mention the music video is really 80s to begin with. When I got to that comment, someone said like, oh, this song sounds like Need You Tonight by INXS. God, it's basically the same guitar tone. Then I also heard Hard Times by Paramore. That sounds totally like some old Blondie songs or like something of that style. Of course, there's bands like Greta Van Fleet, The Struts, and they all sound like some kind of like 70s reincarnations, basically. Like, people compare the Struts, Luke Spiller, the lead singer, to Freddie Mercury. I did all I could, so kiss just one more time and I'm gone for good. People compare Greta Van Fleet to Led Zeppelin. Another thing is vaporwave. I've tried listening to it before, but I can't really get into it, but I know that that's heavily influenced by the 80s. They'll take 80s songs and they'll put like this filter on it. I don't really know. And then like just the other day, like in addition to all this, I mean like I play games on my phone and everything, and I was playing this one game and like an ad came up and it was for Yahtzee, and there was a song in the background and it sounded like an 80s Jazzercise video. Like the music in it, and I was like, what the hell is this? I had to play the game so I could record it for you guys, so here it is, so you guys know what I'm talking about. And this gets me to my next category, movies and television. Obviously, Stranger Things is a huge thing. They sell the shirts at Target. They have like the Starcourt Mall shirts, the lifeguard, well, this is all from the new season, but they have all this stuff that is in the show. And it's crazy. My boyfriend and I were lucky enough to go to the premiere for season 3 last week, and it was really fun. But also, they had the new Coke. New Coke came out in 1985 as a way to compete with Pepsi, which they didn't really need to do because Coke was already fine. In comparison to regular Coke, New Coke isn't as good, but it's better than Pepsi. I mean, that's just my opinion. In 1985, no one liked it, I guess, or most people hated it. So I guess they eventually got rid of it. So the attire for the premiere was 80s themed. You could dress up. I mean, you didn't have to like wear like a gown or anything, or like a tux or anything. You just show up in like something like this. I thought everyone would be dressed up like Olivia Newton-John or something, and surprisingly no one did that, and I was like impressed because I know the 80s weren't entirely just neon, you know. And when I was in high school, they would have like the 80s spirit days and everyone would come in neon, and I'm like, it's not the only thing. It's kind of funny, but I was like impressed that like all these people have like done research or they looked into it because they want to be accurate to the decade. So they like actually went like above and beyond. There were people that had like the perfect hair for it, and I was like, oh my god. Some of them were even tight rolling their pants. I was like, oh, okay. So that was really cool to see. That was another thing that kind of goes along with fashion. And the thing that made me want to start this video is this meme right here. And I know these are like 90s movies, but this also goes into the fact that there is a nostalgia age because they're trying to recreate everything. There's Pet Sematary that came out. They're making the second It movie. I even read there's going to be a Ghostbusters in 2020, and no, it's not the female cast. It's actually like it ties into the original Ghostbusters, I guess. Even Finn Wolfhard is going to be in it from Stranger Things. There's also Glow. I think that's on Netflix. It's about the Glow wrestlers from the 80s. So it's crazy how all these things are like coming back. And another thing is, it's crazy. I saw this other meme and it was saying how anyone that's like my age, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the 80s were 20 years ago. I'm 23 years old. Obviously the 80s are almost 40 years ago now. And for some reason, I still feel like it's early 2000s in my head. And I feel like the 80s were like 20 years ago still. And even now more than ever, because it's more 80s now than it was when it was 20 years ago, you know, like early 2000s. There's so much that's come back, and I really want to see what else happens. It really kind of stinks because I like having physical copies of music. I like having CDs. I even have some cassette tapes that I have. I mean, I also like having movies. I like holding things. I like holding physical things. Just because ever since like smartphones got really big and everything, I've always had this kind of fear that something is gonna happen with it. When I first started using iTunes to buy music, after I'd buy like 10 songs or so, I would burn all those songs onto a CD so I'd actually have like a mixtape of everything I bought, because I'm worried I'll lose it, you know? I mean, like all that money you spend, what if it all goes away? I mean, some people like have put hundreds of dollars into their iTunes accounts for music. I know I've gotten many iTunes gift cards over the past few years. I mean, like what, that's all gonna go away? I know they're getting rid of iTunes to focus on Apple Music, which is just streaming. And personally, I'd rather pay for streaming. I do use Spotify, so I don't have to buy music, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't rather have a CD. And I still do buy CDs. I have a lot of CDs I've collected over time. I like buying movies because, I mean, Netflix only has so much. YouTube only has so much. Not everything you can find everywhere, you know? I see them more as like collectibles. There's a lot of movies that I enjoy, movies that I've seen recently that I'd rather have. I even have Stranger Things season 1 and 2 on DVD. And of course, when the third one comes out, I'll get that one too. That's pretty much just the point of this video. I mean, there wasn't really any plot to it. I just thought I'd say like my opinion on everything right now, because I think it's kind of cool actually. I really wish these weren't such a big thing in everyone's lives, and that's the only thing, you know? But that's how it is. I mean, these started out as iPods. It was just to listen to music. Phones used to just be for calling. Everything's definitely changing quite a lot. I look forward to see what's happening next. Personally, I do hope that there's like some alternatives to like iPhones and stuff. I just think it would be nice to like communicate with people in person. I know, like, I think a lot of social anxiety is caused because of these, because everyone gets so used to talking like through text or like on social media that everyone's scared to actually call on the phone. I made a voicemail today and I felt weird. I shouldn't feel weird making voicemails, but I mean, like, that's what it is now. I mean, there's so many things that have changed. It's very odd, but there's only so much we can do. I mean, we just gotta see what happens next.